Welcome, everybody, to Rock of Cair, Bryn, our first episode officially. And we'll start off by introducing our player for this evening. And welcome, Austin. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Austin.
And you
I like
play?
D&D. I play Shin Jin Kwei, and I'm a druid. A Jesse
Ooh.
druid.
Ooh. Yeah. So this particular uh, episode begins with Shin. He is busy. How should I put this? Effectively, he is running away from something, and in the process of running away, he has hidden himself up and is meditating on some decisions he needs to make. And in the process of this, he ends up getting a vision, which I'm going to read. So this is going to be a bit long, but just so you know what's going on. So here we go. Your first sense is a smell. It is a wet, damp odor of vegetation, long settled, and then you feel the touch of humidity on your body. Sweat starts to drip from you as you feel the rain fall from the sky in this dark and forbidding valley. You hear sound, chanting. You look down and you see a group of wizards, dressed in clothing which appears to be very unfamiliar. They are putting all their energy into a spell, one that seems to create a cone of darkness, very different from the night itself. Animals which would normally teem in the area, from predators to the smallest insects, appear to flee in your mind. You sense their various versions of dread. Then you hear it, a sound not heard in many millennia, a roar of such intense noise it makes you jump almost involuntarily. You feel rather than see the great winged beast. This dragon was not just any drake, but an ancient obsidian-colored dragon with fierce purple eyes. If it could, its rage alone would have destroyed these wizards who used their magics, which were being directed towards the dragon, to wilt its life essence. The dragon starts to slowly drain away in front of you. It crashes with a mighty, ripping, screeching, horrible noise that breaks through the silence. They chant in unison, their dark words blasting more and more into the eye of the dragon, aging everything else to the point where only the calcified eye remained in the skeleton of the great drake. The eye pulsed once and then dulled briefly down to a slight purple blue and red glow. The head wizard looks at it in pride, walking up to reach out for the cannonball-sized rock, only for the last malevolent thought of the drake to burst from the eye, lashing out at this collection of foul wizards, burning them completely, leaving only dust. You sensed that the rock's last conscious thought was pleasure at reaping a reward for this last indignity. From your distance above the valley floor, the rock sat on a podium, completely alone. It felt like time sped forward. What seemed like weeks went by until a young teenager dressed in a robe of pure blue moved to the edge of the jungle towards the blasted center. This girl brushed her copper-colored hair out of her face, swiftly tying it up into a ponytail, and stared at the rock. You feel in her that the rock has found a kindred spirit, another being made of magic. The copper-colored haired girl seemed unsurprised to see the rock. She bowed and said, "Greetings, O great Cair Bryn. In this place I give you your name and acknowledge your power." The rock seemed to watch this being as it bowed so politely. The girl, nonplussed by this stare, continued, "I see you, and I have something in common. Wizards made a mess, and we are all what is left. You feel as if the rock acknowledged this in its thoughts. It could not speak, but somehow you sense that it was able to connect and make it through and let its thoughts be known. It almost feels like you can see in the mind of the rock where the great evil roiled. "What are you?" it asked. "I am Amber, for that is what I decided to call myself." "Why are you here? How did you know I was here?" "Ah, now see, that's my secret. I know everything. Well, sort of." She dropped there, saying nothing more for a second. It was as if that was all she needed to explain it, and that was all. Amber tapped her nose and nodded. Her green eyes glowed with joy at her comment. She was still young and a bit full of herself at this point. The girl changed her demeanor after that. Her thoughts appeared to grow darker, and a frown crossed her face. In that face, you sense great peril. She muttered partially to herself. "Thankfully, those fools had too much hubris to understand that they need to lock you away, but also control your will in order to access the power you possess. Otherwise, the Girl would be free already." You feel her unspoken thought. Instead of the hate of the dragon, which overtook them... Oh, let me try that again. You feel her unspoken thought that the hate of the dragon overtook them before they could actually use the power. She, on the other hand, was willing to watch and to wait for the rock to cool down before reaching out, before it would lose its sense of itself. The rock felt as though it was trying to decide whether this person was good or bad, specifically good or bad for it. It was not sure, but it did know that it should not trust this girl, who looked like she was too small to be a real threat, yet exuded more threat than any wizard the rock or dragon had known. The fact that she radiated chaos from her head to her fingertips and every other part of her body did not make her more easily trusted. The rock finally spoke. "I must achieve my goal. The designs of the Droog will come to pass eventually, regardless of what you do today." Amber appeared to grimace. She knew this as well as anyone. She pulled at her wool tunic once more and set herself firmly. "Nevertheless, I am here to ensure this is not now. Not in this age, at least. As long as my daughters watch, they will be keepers of the world. So when the time comes, my people will be prepared, or at least not hopeless to your magic." The rock felt some satisfaction that it had in some way won a point. Not that it was sure what that point was. It was not able to stop this girl from what she was going to do, and it had no end to its existence in sight, so really, what could this girl and her daughters do? Humans were pathetically short-lived, after all. "You win for now. I cannot stop you, but I will always seek my freedom. And one day, that will come. All of the world will pay the price for your actions today," the rock said with a level of joy and malevolence. With the rock secured, she grabbed the mane of the horse and climbed up to sitting precariously on its back, knowing she would need a place to hide this thing before she could continue her journey. With that, she smacked her horse and sped off. At that moment, as the horse whinnies and shifts, you find your viewpoint shifting as well, and you look about yourself in a cold, dark cave where you had sat yourself several hours earlier. Austin, can you describe your character in more detail?
So Shin is down on his knees in this cave, and as he comes to, he runs his hands through his. Now, John, I gotta make sure I got this right. It's silverish.
It is silver, yes, correct.
Yes. He runs his hand through his silver hair, and it kind of parts and shimmers as he does. And he kind of looks up, and if he's got a fire going, you would you would see like his hazel eyes, kind of shimmer in the fire, and his olive skin is just drenched in sweat, and he's like breathing hard. Um, he's just wearing like uh, leather armor right now. It's dark brown, but it has like the embedding looks like wrapped vines going through it, and yeah.
Okay. So with that, you come to, you look around, you don't see anything dangerous around you, but the cave is very quiet at the moment, and you can see the light kind of coming through. It's obviously daytime through the entrance of the cave, but the way the cave is kind of set, you're a little inset, so you're not completely out in the open, but you know kind of what's going on, or that you, like I said, you can see that there's daylight outside, so you can see some things, and of course because of your natural abilities, with even that tiny bit of light, you can see like as if it's daytime in the cave.
Okay. Um, yeah. So like, if it looks like it's daytime outside, I'll kind of start to get my stuff up and make my way towards the entrance of the cave.
Okay.
Um, but I'll kind of like pause for a second and just kind of take in my thoughts, take some deep breaths, uh, look down and make sure my sword buckle is strapped to my hip and make sure my blade's sliding out easy enough. Take a deep breath, look both ways, and just go out. Start making my way.
Around the world.
Yeah, around the world. Around the world.
All right. So as you exit this cave, okay, so you step out. As you do, you will see in front of you basically just this little sort of grass and dirt openings. There are trees around you, and it's very forested. You are currently in a mountainous area. You are on your way to a city called Veilguard. It's an ancient city that's been around for thousands of years, and it is known as being a place where a lot of clerics live and a lot of knowledge resides. So it's one of the few places that hasn't been conquered in many, many millennia. And so its libraries actually still exist, and much of the literature and documentation of that era continues in that town in ways that wouldn't necessarily in a place that's already been had conquest running through it at different times. So because of that, you are making your way towards that to try and find out what you can about some things that are worrying you. However, on this occasion, as you are standing there at the edge of the cave and about to make your way, you can hear what sounds like something, and I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
Okay. Perception.
All right, a 12. Okay, so with a 12, you hear the snapping of twigs and what sounds like could be movement to your left and to your right.
Uh, Okay, yeah, I'll put a hand on my scimitar, but I'll like try to peek around, I guess, the side of this cave.
Okay.
See if I can see anything outside of it.
All right. So, as you do, you will hear something sounding like it's coming closer, and you sense that it's more than one thing. And I'll give you one more go to sort of figure out what it is, if you'd like to use some skill to try and figure it out.
I will try to like listen a little bit closer and see if I can tell if it's walking on like 2 legs or 4 legs.
Okay.
So maybe like a nature. I don't know if that would be a nature check or a perception check, whichever.
Nature, perception, or I will even say, well, yeah, nature or perception makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna go with perception.
Is that because it's higher?
Yeah,
Well,
11.
11 doesn't do you much good. All right. So with that, you unfortunately are going to find out basically when everybody else does. Oh, I did that the wrong way around. And just made it everybody can't see anything. There we go. All right. You are surrounded by wolves.
Oh, okay. That's not good.
And they are closing in.
Um,
So I'm gonna say at this point you're probably gonna have to roll for initiative. I'm gonna be real with you.
okay.
Because they see you and they're not happy about you.
I bet.
And okay, so I think
Is this their cave?
this is their cave. Yep, you're right.
Excuse me.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. All right, give me 1 second, and I need to bring up the turn tracker. Which, boy, it's been a while since I've had to do this. Right, turn order. Boom. Okay. All right. So if you want to roll up your thing, that should appear. And okay, so
Roll the 2.
you did, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, oh, I was about to say, I mean, it's level 1, but they rolled a 19, so you know,
Shortest session.
the
Shortest game ever.
So there are 4 wolves in front of you.
That's not good.
So there go. Apparently, they growl and they start. Basically, you can tell that they're trying to keep you pinned down. And so rather than like race to attack, they're kind of gearing themselves up and they just kind of slowly make their way forward. You know how dogs or that kind of animal kind of their teeth get bared and they're getting closer and closer and they look like they're going to bite, but they're not doing anything because they're waiting for you to do something first.
Okay.
So that was their turn, effectively, what I'm telling you.
Okay.
So you have a choice.
I'm going to. So where can I not, like, is this blocked off? Like, can I not move over this way?
You can move into the spaces on either side. They are trees, so they do give you a little bit of protection, I guess. But I would say it's just like maybe a +1 to your armor class, in the fact that they would have to dodge around it to get to you. So other than that, they're not much use beyond that. And then behind you, you can climb up under the rocks behind you if you want to try that. That would be an athletics check.
What? No. I don't really want to do that. But,
okay.
what I'm going to do is I am going to move, like, in the trees, but I'm going to kind of try to put my hands up to be non-threatening.
Okay.
I will. So my speed is 30, so I'm going to go ahead and move that. Do you want this to be like any kind of difficult terrain or anything like that? Or is it
it's just like grass, so there's nothing particular. Like, it's not rock strewn, or there's not like sand or something where you'd have to trudge through it. So it's just normal terrain, I guess, is what I'm trying to tell you, with trees.
Okay. I'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 with my hands up. And if they don't make any moves, like, I'll just use my action to dash and just get out of there. Okay. 30 more feet.
All right. So they will turn, and the closest one to you will charge. And as they move faster than you, they will possibly get to you first. So that one will charge. This one is probably going to run after you. The other two will be a little bit more deliberate. And they will, the one will guard the entrance to the cave while the other one sort of seems more like they're in charge, if I want to put it that way, as close. They're the alpha, basically.
They're the
So
bigger boys.
yeah, a little bit bigger. Not like like they're all roughly the same size. There's nothing like screamingly different about them. But you can tell that this one seems to be sort of the leader.
Okay.
You're a druid. You should know these things.
Yeah, I see him. Oh no, that one's bigger.
He's gonna be a problem.
He's peeing on stuff.
He's peeing on stuff.
All right.
Okay. So your turn.
All right.
You know they're not going to give up.
Okay.
And
in that case,
and their speed is 10 feet quicker than yours. So
are we? Is this how we're kind of set up right here?
yeah. So so
caught
basically, what will happen is that the 3 wolves will follow you, but the 4th one will stay behind.
All right. I'm gonna say. Look back at him and say, "Okay, then." And as like they're running towards me, and as I'm running, I'm just gonna vanish into like a puff of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna use my blessing of the Raven Queen, or blessing of the Deathbringer.
Okay.
Blessing of the Deathbringer. As a bonus action, I can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space I can see. But I can only do it. So 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm just going to go here.
Okay.
And then as my action, I'm going to cast Thunder Wave. So I'll roll that here.
Okay.
I'm going to cast it at first level. Wave of thunderous force sweeps out from you. Each creature within 15 foot makes a con save.
Okay.
So I think that's all of them.
Okay. So keeping in mind that the 4th one basically is back here somewhere. It will not be chasing you.
Okay, cool.
So I rather than move the map, we'll just move the doggy. So it's just 3 of them. So I just need to roll a con save for each of them. Correct? Yep. Okay, there's 1. There's There's 2. Oh, hey, well 1 failed.
Yeah, but 1 failed.
The one in the back, the one that looks like they're more bossy, is the one who failed.
So he takes 2d8 thunder damage. Like as I come back, my poop comes out here. I kind of slam the ground with my hand, and it just makes like this sound wave just come out from me, and they're gonna the one in the back will take 2d8. So
okay.
He takes 9, and the other take half as much.
Okay, well you see that one that was in front of you basically drop at that point.
And the one that did, he's pushed back 10 feet. The one that failed.
Okay, so he goes back like to there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or to there, I guess. Okay, it's confusing because unfortunately there's lines under these lines. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just mark down what these guys have left.
After that, I'll just draw my sword and end my turn.
So as of right now, the 3rd wolf is out. The other 2 are still in this, basically. You have turned on them, so they have to turn around to deal with you. The weird part of this is I didn't put Streamlabs on there, so I don't know why it's there, but whatever. Okay, so they will turn and they will attack.
Okay.
So
bring it on.
Okay, so here we go. 1 down, 2 to go. And so they're going to do the typical wolf option of bite. Everybody loves a bite, right?
Don't do it. Don't hurt me.
Here's the first one. Ooh.
No,
hits. Okay, so... Oh, that is not rolling. Okay. Okay, so we'll roll this second attack, and then I'll figure out how to roll damage, because apparently that didn't want to work. Oof.
Yeah, those both hit. A dirty 20 will hit me.
All right, so with that, we will do the damage from both. Bear with me 1 second on that front. Apparently, I thought this was all set up, but apparently not. Okay, whoop. Okay. And we need to do... I need to fix that because that's not right. But that's fine. So that did... Okay, so that was a total of 8 points of damage.
8 points. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not looking good.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
It's your turn.
My turn. First off, I'm gonna say I'm gonna look at like where they bit me, I guess, in my arms, and I'm just gonna like grasp the wounds and say, "Through death, I'll find life," and I'll use Healing Word as a bonus action.
Okay.
So I get to do 1d4 plus my spellcasting ability modifier. So, and I gain that much healing.
Okay.
So that's 1d4 plus my wisdom modifier, which is 3. So 1d4 plus 3.
Okay.
7, yay. Max, that's the max.
Nice. Good job. Okay.
And then that's my bonus as my action. That's my the spell slot. I guess I'm gonna have to swing my scimitar at your boy right in front of me.
Okay.
Will 22 hit?
Oh, yeah.
7 slashing damage.
Okay, so you're doing it to the one on the left or the right?
Whichever one's closest to me.
Okay, so
If
the one
they're
on the... I mean, they're both roughly the same. We can do it on the one on the left. It's fine. So,
Yeah.
so 7 points of damage. He goes down.
And is this guy within range to bite me still? Well, it doesn't matter. He's going to get to me next time. Yeah. That's all. I don't have anything else, so I'm just going to
It's fine.
square up with him.
You're down to 1 wolf, so not bad. Yeah. Not bad. All right. The last wolf closes in after watching its companion go down and watching the other one get thrown away, and launches another attack. Tries to bite you again. Now it knows that it needs to defeat you, or otherwise it's going to be in trouble. So, all right.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
I'm scared.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's being a bit of a dense dog. Okay, there we go. There we go. That was weird. All right, so bite.
A 9 will not hit.
Very nice. Very nice. So it launches at you. It growls and roar and tries to bite you, but it's freaked out right now. You've heard it. It's not really sure what to do, and it misses on the bite and just sort of bites in the air around you and falls back down at your feet.
I'll look down at it, look back at the alpha, and swing my sword at it.
Okay.
Try to take it out.
All right.
Oh, no.
Well, that's not going to hit. I'm afraid that is a miss. You are correct.
I'll be like, oh, no. And I'll just ready my sword again.
You're both freaked out at this point. Ah! All right. So, again, it tries to bite you. It misses.
I'll swing back at it.
The fight of the century going on here. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Another bite attempt. Another miss.
Yeah, same. We're going to keep this going.
Nope.
16?
Not this time. You hit.
Oh. 6 slashing.
And down it goes. The wolf falls at your feet. And everybody is out.
Yeah, just turn back and just look at the alpha and just wait. And like I'll start like.
Well, the alpha's dead. You killed the alpha. The one guarding the cave is nowhere near here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the alpha. It was basically the female wolf who was.
She was guarding. Okay, I see. The alpha came with me. The female was back. Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So basically, it's still standing in front of the cave entrance, and you just killed basically her pack,
Well,
in effect.
they tried to kill me.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, you're right.
You did what you needed to do, so that worked.
I look back and like I kind of realize what's happened and kind of just look up to the sky, take a deep breath, and I'll take some time to like maybe start skinning the pelts off of them and
He's
making
like,
sure I
do. I mean, there's not another wolf around or anything, no problem. Sure, go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay, well, I'll take the alpha then.
Okay.
Just because I know that other one's there, so I'll leave the other two wolves, but I'll take the alpha with me and
Okay.
skin them down when I get a chance.
All right. So you travel for a bit. You are crossing through a valley and into more mountainous region. Do you walk like all day, or what do you do other than, I guess, skinning the wolf a little ways away?
Yeah, pretty much I'll walk the whole way. Like I'll keep walking until actually I'll even walk a little bit into the night, maybe to like midnight, and then I'll start making a camp and I'll sleep till about, early morning, get up and walk.
All right. Cool.
Traveling.
Cool. All right. So as you're traveling, we will switch to this.
I would, as like maybe, do I make it to the nighttime at all?
You do make it to the nighttime. You don't hear any other threatening thing coming towards you. Mm-hmm. It seems very much like you're pretty safe, I guess I would say at this point.
Okay.
So, for those of you watching on stream and on YouTube, I will show you where our young boy is marching, although it is not showing everything, which is kind of annoying. This is going to take some getting used to, apparently. We're getting there. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just expand that out, and then we'll just reduce the size. There we go. Okay, so as of right now, Shin is crossing the mountains that you see and into an area just to the west of the mountains called Veilguard, which is a major capital city. He spends he's been marching for probably the better part of a month because he's on foot. He hasn't got a horse. This is travel across the continent. Most of the area has been plain and long grass and some forests, but this is like the hardest part of the journey. And as you march through into the evening, like I said, you don't come across anything else that can hinder you. You can take some time to decide where you're going to sleep. You find a clearing just kind of by a small stream which is coming out of the mountains, which as you look down the mountain, you can actually see in the distance what looks to be firelight glowing, what obviously has to be a town because you wouldn't see it otherwise. Obviously a camp or something like that wouldn't be bright enough, but you can see something down the mountain, not within reasonable distance, but not necessarily like a couple hours march. It's more like maybe a day's march. But it's up to you what you want to do now. You're muted. I can't hear you.
What time of day did you say it was?
Evening.
Evening. What time? Like
late
night?
No, I'd say more like I would assume like 8 o'clock, like where it's dark, but it's not kind of when all the night predators start moving around.
All right, and it's and you said the light's about a day away, so
Mm-hmm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make camp for tonight,
Okay.
and as I'm skinning this wolf, or no, that was long ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be carrying around a big old wolf if I was you.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, do I have the pelt still, or
yep.
okay?
Yeah,
Uh,
I figured you probably walked for like a half an hour to get away from like smelling distance, in effect,
yeah, yeah.
and then spent some time doing your skinning. Probably made sure you were loud enough to keep anything else away, and then probably did what you could to dispose of what was left.
As I'm like camping tonight, as I got my fire going or whatever, I'm gonna just think and try to like think about everything I know about um, that vision. Like
Mm-hmm.
as this month has went past, like what have I put together? Basically, can I tell if if I know? Is there anything about the woman that I seen
Mm-hmm.
in the? Can I connect her to anything? I know I'm going here for knowledge,
Right.
but do I have anything to go on besides a woman with red hair named Amber?
So what you know, because there's ancient tales about this, and because you've spent time sort of studying history and lore, I'm gonna give you the option of doing one of two things. If you want more in depth, roll me a history check or a religion check.
Okay. Um,
Otherwise, I'll give you very vague answers.
I will. I'll just go ahead and roll a religion check. I'm not great in it, but I'm decent.
Okay.
So I'll roll it, and we'll see if I can get anything good.
Okay.
19.
That would be pretty good, I'd say. So you know that from some books you've read in the past, and from talking to one of your old masters or instructors, that there's a story that goes back so long that people don't really know when it started, about a person who's basically called the Memorialist. It's not a name that person, like, that's the name the person has given themselves, and that she looks almost identical to this girl that you saw.
Okay.
And the rumor is that she is very much an eternal person. Like, she's been around so long, nobody knows when she began, and nobody really understands fully the story behind how she began. But she is one of the few people that can go anywhere in the world and walk into any building she wants and get what she wants from it. And
Mm,
what you also know is that she is effectively considered the keeper of knowledge, which is one of the ancient names that she had.
okay. Keeper of knowledge. All right. And I'm gonna try to find out about these bad boy wizards when I get there too. So I'm glad I'm going to a place with a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna do. Uh, for that night is kind of reflect on my thoughts and um, like as like is the moon out at all tonight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see the moons, actually.
Moons.
Yeah. There's three moons that are
Let me just
close enough to
write
be
this
seen with the
down.
naked eye, and there's probably about four or five others that you could see
Oh,
if you had, say, a telescope or some way to see better.
plus 4 or 5. I put down 3 moons plus 4 or 5 further.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Uh, yeah, I'll kind of fall asleep. Uh, I have like a little fire going, and I'm near the fire and near the edge of the river,
Okay.
and I'm kind of looking up at the moons
All right.
as I fall asleep.
Can you roll me a perception check?
Yes, 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 yes. I can. That's a good one for me. 10.
Not so good one for you. Uh, early in the morning, so like kind of at the edge of dawn, right when things are kind of starting to glow with daylight, but not quite fully there. It's still freezing cold. In our time, it would be like 6 o'clock in the morning, kind of thing, between
Mm,
5:36. You feel a boot softly prod your shoulder.
Oh, I'll open like one eye and kind of look up,
Okay.
see who it is,
Uh,
if I recognize this person or if there's any kind of garb that gives away who they are.
okay, so you see there is a person there who has what looks to be a military bearing. They're about 6'2". They're human. They have gray hair at the temples. They have an eye patch, and they have a big fancy sword attached to their hip, which you can tell has had lots of use. And he looks down at you and says, "Son, sleeping on the ground out in the open like this might not be our best idea."
Uh, yeah, I kind of just fell asleep last night.
I mean, fair enough. If I'm correct, you're the one who fought the wolves.
Uh, Nod, kind of gesture to the pelt.
Yeah,
My...
I be following you a little bit away. And not following you specifically, more like I was coming the same direction. The missus
Yes.
sent me out to get some fowl, and he lifts up a few birds that you can see, and he goes, "But I got a wee lost for a bit down in the valley, not far from where you were, so I had to trace back. And your little battle was very helpful."
Hmm. No problem. What would you say your name was?
My name is Tam
Tam.
O'Malley. I'm from Springard, but I'm visiting relatives in Valeguard, and my wife is there and demanded I go find them the best fowl, game, whatever I can find.
Hmm.
I'm not like the best hunter, but I know how to find them.
Huh. Well,
If you want, I
look,
can bring you into the city if that's where you're headed.
I was gonna suggest that. I was gonna say, why don't me and you travel to the city together?
Probably a good idea. You never know when bandits will appear, so I'm good with that. And he straightens up after kind of leaning over to talk to you and says, "If you want to pack up your camp, I'll set something grilling, and we can have a little bit of breakfast before we leave. How's that sound?"
That sounds good, Tam. And I'll, as I like get up, I'll pat him on the shoulder, and I'll cast guidance on him.
Okay. He. So what does that do?
It'll give him a D4 he can add to an ability check of his choice within a minute. Well, I guess if he's gonna start, I hope he starts cooking right now.
That's what he's doing right now. He
But
turns
yeah,
around and he starts getting the fire ready as you speak, and he looks like he's got a couple of fish that he's going to grill up.
basically it'll give him a D4 to it, so he can maybe help him do
Okay.
it better.
All right.
And
Cool.
I'll start getting my camp
Cool.
broke down and stuff.
All right. So while you do that and he organizes himself, uh, he spends some time getting the fish set up and gutted and filleted and cooks it for a while. And by the time you're done, he looks up at you and says, it's almost ready. If you'd like some, have a seat.
Sure. I'll sit down with him and
So
take a bite.
as you sit down and he looks you over a bit, he says, "You might want to pull up your hood there, buddy."
Oh,
You don't have to really do it.
yeah.
But
Okay,
he says,
I was,
it's a good thing you're going our way rather than some place to the east. You'd probably be hunted and killed. But we're protective of your kind. Old traditions.
you were Veilguard. Like, is it all of Veilguard against my kind?
No, not Valeguard.
Oh.
The rest of the world,
The rest
maybe,
of the world.
but not
Okay.
Valeguard. Valeguard has special links to the Prashina folk and you people.
Well, I'm gonna get this, and I'll gesture to the pelt fashioned into something. I have this hood for now, and I do put a hood up, uh, just in case there's any other travelers.
Good idea. You can never tell, and honestly, people are paranoid in this era.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe they should be, Tam. And I kind of laughed that off, but I'll say, hey, uh, so while you've been in Veilguard, do you have you heard of the Memorialist? I'm sure you have.
Ah, yes, of course we have. That's like what my mom used to tell me when I was a wee baby. And, I mean, she comes to Veilguard apparently quite a bit.
You know if she's here now?
She's not, as far as I'm aware. What I've been told, although you're probably better off after a cleric than a wee tracker like me. But as far as I know, she's back west over in Taunus.
Huh.
But again, I wouldn't ask me alone. I'd double check with the people in town because they'll have a much better idea where she might be than I do.
Yeah. It'll be good to be in a town for a night or two, maybe, anyway.
It's always good to rest your head in a bed. That's what I usually say.
Well, I kind of prefer it under the moonlight, but I do need to restock, and I
Indeed.
should probably clean my gear if I'm gonna be meeting with people.
He smiles at that. Yeah, I know a wee bit about that too. And he brushes his face where the dirt and the blood all mixed together. And he says, "Get a wee bath in you, and that'll clean off all the grime and all the road that the bringer of rain has gotten on you."
Yeah. Well, what? So, is this food good?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like camp food basically, right? It's like a kipper type meal. It's not salted or anything, but just like regular fish. But it's pretty good. And he has like a roll that he brings out, which is sort of there, but it's edible.
Tam, this is pretty good.
Well, you get enough time wandering the woods, you get to learn how to do things so that they don't taste terrible. Because you eat a lot of your own cooking, if you know what I mean.
Eh, Maybe you could show me some things.
Indeed, sir. What is your name, anyway, sir? I'm
Oh,
afraid I
I'm sorry.
embarrassingly didn't ask.
Yeah. I'll kind of bow to him and I'll say, my name is Shinjin Quay.
And you do know your people don't usually come this way. In fact, I
Yeah.
can't honestly say I've ever seen one of your kind.
Well, hopefully, hopefully you like. I'm the kind of guy that you like.
He smiles at you and says, "You are. You seem a well traveled soul, and I feel that. I travel these hills and mountains quite a lot. If there's a nook and a cranny in it that I don't know or haven't been to, I don't know anyone else that has. So you kind of get to know a few things about a few people in that process, especially when you talk to yourself quite a lot. Or as I like to say it, talking to the bringer of rain. But she and I don't have like personal one on ones, but you know. And he kind of chuckles to himself at that and then looks at you and says, "But I'm a big believer in if you present yourself in the right way, if you look like you're not out to cause trouble, which I don't think you are, then I have no problem with you. I don't care who you are."
Yeah. Well, I'm not here to cause any trouble. Hopefully, I can help prevent trouble.
He smiles a little bit and says, "Well, at the end of the day, we're all equal under the eyes of the gods, anyhow. They care little of us." And he kind of mutters to himself a little bit, and you can kind of hear him kind of say, if they did, they wouldn't have took Sweet Will away. And then he nods and says, "Well, are you ready? Should we get go?"
Yeah, I like to take like the last bite of my fish and kind of throw my stick into the fire, and then once it burns up a little bit, I'll be, yeah, stomp out the fire.
Okay. He has like a pail that, like a kind of a folding leather, I guess more like a, a, a canteen. That's the word I'm looking for. Which he uses to put the fire out, kind of stomps on it a bit himself, and then stirs up the embers a little bit, looks down, says, I think that's good enough. Good enough for today, anyway.
Yeah,
And he says, come with me. We'll get you to Veilguard. Tickety
and I
split.
kind of pat him on the back. I like you, Tim.
He nods and says, I like you too, Shin. I think you're a good fella. And he walks with you down to Veilguard. He chats your head off about a lot of mundane things. Talks a lot about cooking and kind of gives you a little bit of guidance on how to see when things are close to being ready, how to tell how a fire should be set for certain types of things. And depending on how interested you are, he'll go into a big discussion about berries and how to season things with, the plants that are in the local area. And
Yeah, I'll take it all in.
okay. So
I'll be interested in.
so he basically talks your ear off for the next 5-6 hours as you climb out of the mountain, and within about, well, probably by midday, you can see the city's walls coming into view more fully, and you can see that this area, you've never really ever been here. You've probably been north of it on occasion, but your experience in life has never taken you to this city at all. And it is a massive structural castle, effectively, which has kind of a town built across it and up it. And so it's very well guarded, historically well known for being a place where it's kind of a beacon in the West. Towns and villages rely on it to sort of protect them. And the Vale Guard soldiers are well known for being very well trained and well disciplined and very swift in protecting their people. So even amongst your people, they're fairly well known for reasons of the fact that once, not recent ago, you guys actually fought a war against each other. And you know more about that than probably most of the humans do. And as you get to town, there are town guards. They question Tam a little bit, but don't really give a lot of like suspicion casting at you. There is a few of the people around may give you a little bit of a look to try and, like, the kids will try and see in your hood and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Parents kind of shush them and tell them not to stare. And everybody just more or less leaves you alone. But you are now in the city. Tam offers to put you up for the evening with his family, but also says that if you feel more comfortable, there are places to stay in town. And of course, you can always get yourself a bath. And he definitely offers to feed you dinner and points you towards the local temples and kind of the towers of magic in the city and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll definitely take him up on staying. I don't have much money, so
Fair enough.
definitely take him up on if he'll give me a room for the night, and thank him, ask him if there's anything I can do.
And he nods and says, just make sure you stay out of trouble. And if you do get in any, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
You have my word.
He nods and says, I take it as read you do. Try not to stare too much at our king if you see him.
He kind of looks questioningly at him, like, "What?" And he says, "What do you mean?"
Tam kind of chuckles to himself a little bit and at you, and he says, he's got, we call it the points on his ears. That's all.
Mm,
Some of an old tradition.
okay.
And he nods at you and kind of waves you off.
Yeah, now go off and explore the city.
Okay.
Head, if there's a temple specifically for the memorialist, I'm sure it's huge, but
There's not a temple to the memorialist. But there is like the massive library to the gods, basically, is what it's called. So kind of along the lines of, you can imagine sort of like the library of Alexandria, that kind of thing, where it's like this massive building with scrolls from ancient times to present times, all kind of rolled up into it, and there are priests and such that kind of look after it.
that's the one I'll go to then.
Okay, so as you walk towards this building, it is a kind of a shimmering building where it looks like the magic has been used to kind of set off the metal that's been inlaid, so the golds and the silvers kind of sparkle just a little bit more, and it can hurt your eyes if you stare at it a bit too long, but otherwise it's just very, very bright. And for someone like yourself, where you come from, this is about as bright as you've ever seen. Outside of, like, say, a magical beam of light or something along that line.
Okay.
As you come towards the entrance, you see there's like a small pond, like a reflective pond in the front, and there's a little fountain mechanism which looks like it's being magically run. And then there is a grand entrance with a massive, well, normally be a closed door probably at night, but during the day it's wide open, and it probably stands about 12 feet in the air, and then it's put aside, and in front of it, sort of standing off to the side a little bit respectfully, is a gentleman wearing a dark cloak, and he watches as you come towards him.
Yeah, I'll like be running my fingers through the fountain as I'm walking past, and like as I get to this shimmering building, if I can get close enough to touch it and like run my hand along the wall as I'm walking, I'll do that. And
Okay.
when I get up to the entrance, I'll kind of look at the guy for a second, but if he doesn't say anything, I'll try to keep walking in.
He nods at you briefly and says, "Welcome. May I assist you?"
Uh, yeah. And I kind of like look into the building and I say, I want to is I'm looking for the memorialist,
Oh.
but I was told she isn't here.
No, I'm afraid not. The daughter of Amber is many leagues away out in Tonus. If you are needing passage, I can certainly see if there's a riverboat heading that direction.
That would be amazing.
Uh, Certainly, I can inquire if you would like to have a seat. If there's anything else you'd like to know about, or any information you would appreciate learning, uh, please just speak to one of the librarians.
Thank you. I'll do that. What was your name again?
My name is Jean.
Jean.
Yep.
I'm Shin. Uh, like put a hand out.
He puts his hands together and kind of bows to you, and then takes your hand and shakes it. Kind of does one of these, and then just kind of reaches his
I
hand
can't
out.
see.
I know you can't see. Everybody else can see, not you. But basically, yeah, puts his hands together in kind of a prayer motion, and then kind of bows towards you a little bit, and then puts his hand out to shake your hand, as if to say, "Oh, okay,
I shake it. Or shake. We shake it.
all right."
We shake.
And then he says, "I'll be back in a few minutes," and he walks away.
And I'll kind of go around and look. Is there a lot of books in here?
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
there's not books, there's scrolls, and there's
Oh,
like thousands upon thousands of them.
yeah. I'm just gonna be in like awe.
Yeah,
Uh, uh,
it's like, imagine like a massive library that's like has stacks of books in rows that ascend into the heavens. It almost looks like, and that's kind of what this is. There's guys moving around on ladders to reach different scrolls, and they come in, and some of them have like really old ones that they're very very careful with, and they kind of lay them out, and they hand people like little sticks and just tell them to use that to open them. And then there's other ones where they're like just kind of scrolling through, and you see some of them, they have these desks that are like super super long, and they just the whole scroll covers the entire desk, and the guy's just sitting there reading his way through it.
I'll look for is that a librarian?
He's not, but there is librarians you can see wearing similar cloaks to the other gentleman that you met,
Okay.
and there's one
Uh,
relatively close.
yeah, I'll grab like kind of signal one. Excuse me.
And so a lady walks over, and you see her. She's kind of blonde haired. She has like uh, dark, almost amber eyes, and she stares down at you and says, "May I be of service to you, sir?"
Uh, yes. I'm looking for something. It's a name that I came across in my journeys, and I was wondering if there may be some. You might have a scroll on it.
Uh, I mean, if there is a scroll to be had, we have it. What do you need?
Uh, the name is Cair Bryn.
Uh, like it's in the fortress.
I look back and back and forth. I don't know. I've never heard it other than just in my travels.
Right. Okay. Well, I can correlate with our chief musician and see if there's any mention. Give me a few minutes to have a look. If there's something we can find, we'll definitely get back to you. I don't know how long it could take, though. Have you got some time?
Um, I don't know how long. Maybe.
She smiles and says, "Okay." And
But I
right.
don't know how long I'm gonna be here.
All right. Well, I'll do what I can. If I can get back to you quickly, I will. If not, just message one of my colleagues, and I'm sure we can at least try and get you some information. Um, just let us know.
Yeah, whatever you can do is fine. If not, we'll figure it out later. Thank you.
Very good. And she wanders off, and you see her move in between the stacks. And there's a gentleman there with sort of a much more elaborate robe. And you can see there's like golden drawings basically on the edges of it. And he looks up as she is talking to him. You can see him sort of huff a little bit. And he then starts to do something with his hands. And you can see it's almost looked like he's picking up a magical scroll, and although there's nothing there, and you can see him kind of take his finger and kind of swipe, like as if he's trying to swipe right through Tinder. Uh, and he just keeps doing that, and he's muttering as he's going, and you can kind of, because you use magic, that he's obviously using magic to find this item. Um, but beyond that, you don't know what he's using to do it.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
Cool.
so I don't know how long you want to just sit there, but within about 10 minutes, the gentleman you talked to first uh,
Yeah.
comes wandering up, and he says, uh, I've found that there is a passage that can be booked for you if you have. I don't know how much money you might have on you. I don't want to prejudge, but you'll need a couple of silver at least.
Oh, yes. I yes, I can do that.
Okay.
I've I've I've, I've 5 gold. Do you have change for a gold?
Uh, the He nods and says, "Why, yes, of course. Um, you're not offended if I give it to you in our currency, are you?
No. Does it? Will it work?
I mean, it's the same metal, just different logos."
Meh, it's fine with me.
Okay, I wouldn't give it to anybody down in the seacoast, but other than that, it's pretty good everywhere else.
Yeah,
And
spend it. Spend it only in places it's good.
indeed, and he wanders away with your gold piece, comes back maybe 20 minutes later with your change. And he hands you what would be the equivalent to a ticket, and says, if you go see the Bright Pony down at the river, they have a ship that's about to leave, probably in about an hour. That can take you to Tunis immediately if you want.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll shake his hand again.
He nods and says, excellent. I hope that helps you out. I hope you find what you're looking for knowledge-wise, though. And
Same.
and he nods again. And as he does, the girl walks up to you, and she says, "Sir, our magician looked through the documents for you. Unfortunately, they're outside of." So, and then she pulls out a small scroll. Like, the scroll looks like the size of like a regular piece of paper, but it's like rolled up. And on it, there's some notes. And she says, the only reference we really have of Cair is the old ancient castle down in the south. Other than that, we don't really have any other information.
Maybe I'll try down there then, if my travels take me there.
She nods and says, I mean, it was quite the fortress a very long time ago, but it's now more of an ancient ruin.
Still might be fun.
She nods and says, I really wouldn't know. I don't usually leave the city, but yeah, I guess it could be.
Well, if I'm back this way, I'll stop back here. You guys are very friendly and helpful.
She nods and says, well, our king has always advised that is the best policy to have. But on that note, you, I assume, will start making your way down to the river.
I will say goodbye to Tam and his family and thank them for letting me stay and eat and everything.
Cool. He gives you a small sort of pack of food and gives you a couple of copper and says, make sure that you beware of those who might take advantage of you.
Thank you, Tam. I guess the bath will have to wait till next time, but there will be a next time. I'll see you again.
He nods and says, peace be with you, friend.
And I'll kind of do like the nod to him and take care of yourself.
As always. And he nods, and him and his family go back to doing what they're doing. He waves goodbye to you. And I guess you make your way to the ship.
Yep.
So what you reach is kind of a riverboat. It's not very exciting. It's just basically like a large rowboat, effectively. There's room enough to store your belongings and not much else. It's like a 4-person kind of large canoe, in effect. And they welcome you aboard, and you start traveling to the west. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can do that here, and you can watch the latest video up here. And if you want to know more about what we do, be sure to check out distractionsmedia.com.